and welcome to DesignCourse.com, and today we're going to do the overview of DesignCourse Design Challenge number 11, and that's designing a custom sci-fi letter R. But before we get to that, as always, I'm going to spam you, of course, with my premium service right here, which is at DesignCourse.com/premium. And basically, what I'm about to do with these reviews here, you can just basically just inject a ton of steroids into it in terms of more elaborate reviews and one-on-one design training, which is what the core of Design Course Premium is all about, which is the DesignCourse.com mentor product, the one-on-one training. And then I also have VisID, which is a video course, a full video course of visual identity design, which is things like logo design, business card design, basically handling the creation of a full business identity. And then also Wise Banner, which is a Photoshop banner maker, action and PSD and script files that I created. So I'm going to be adding to this a lot in terms of additional products and services, but right now this is the three that are there. And again, this is the focal point, mentor, which is the one-on-one training with myself. So I will help you become an awesome designer. Okay, end the spam. Here we go. So basically the idea is to design a custom sci-fi letter R, okay, a capital R, and make sure it's large enough to see. Color selection's up to you, and make sure it's the primary element or focal point in the design. And so here's just some ideas for, inspiration or reference in terms of what I was looking for. So the first one is from Gabriel Claudio, I don't know. So when I looked at this initially, I thought it's pretty cool. For some reason, I really just liked the negative space, which in typographic terminology, any type of negative space, like the inside of an O or the inside portion of a P, the negative space, it's formally referred to as the counter. So this would be a counter right here. And I really liked it. It kind of reminded me of like a message, but also because of this line extending down, it does have the sci-fi feel. I think maybe all these elements outside of it were a little bit too much. But then again, we weren't really trying to design a practical font, but just something that's sci-fi. So it does feel sci-fi in this way. So yeah, good entry. And I kind of probably like this one a little bit more than these, though these still could definitely count as being sci-fi. So yeah, good entries all around. And Bakbami, so let's see here. It does feel overall sci-fi with the usage of, the background. I would imagine this is kind of like a spacey feel to it. And the colors, the black and the green. I would say that if this were to be an actual font, you probably want to pay attention maybe to, man, it would be real hard to recreate this through every single letter. But like I said, this isn't just for a practical purpose, but I would say the way it's designed kind of feels almost a little bit, how could I say this? A little bit cartoony, if you will. So it does feel sci-fi, but a little bit on the cartoony side. It's not overall bad, but I was kind of looking specifically more, like hardcore sci-fi, just like stuff you would see in Alien movie or something. But anyhow, no. Overall, good design. You can tell it's an R. There's good white space and negative space, so good stuff. Velo. All right, so this one, it's not too bad. I think I like the very simple portrayals just so I can see, what the actual letter form is. You can see that we have the overlaying of the red and blue, and that does add to it. The color in and of itself kind of does add to the sci-fi kind of high-tech feel, so that's not a bad option. But yeah, this isn't too bad. I kind of like it. It almost kind of does feel wonky / cartoony in and of it with these two kind of dashes here or indents or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, yeah, definitely. I would say if I were to rate this on like 1 to 10, I would say maybe like 6 or 7. So I'll show you ones that are kind of on the lower scale, which we do have. Hopefully I don't piss anyone off with that. Silverback. So here's one. My initial thought on this was that instead of making inversing this right here to white from red, keeping it red, but just adding either up here or down here a white area, which will kind of make it So it would still preserve this line. That way it would kind of make it more simplistic and less cluttered with the checker pattern that's kind of going on here. Other than that, and just looking at it like it is, I think it's a pretty cool idea, you know, kind of like with the whole, I don't know, planet with a ring going around it thing. So yeah, cool entry. So here's another one from Muhammad. Yeah, overall I like this. This is definitely right up the alley of what I was looking for. I do think there's probably just a tad bit too much brightness here between the background and the letter, which creates for a little bit of a contrast issue, but not much. That's kind of like, I'm really picking hairs here. But I do like the letter form, and I like the inner emboss type thing that's going on here. So yeah, good job. I really like this one as well from JDE Wojno or whatever. This is real cool. This one kind of makes me feel like, I don't know, like alienish slash, you know, with the texture that's inside of the R. Really cool. So, you know, this looks like a space background type texture. And so that really just reinforces the idea that it's sci-fi. And plus, you know, it's very simple, but it's also, you know, right up the alley. It just really feels alien and sci-fi. So that's cool. Good job. Not too much bad to say about that at all. Velo, I mean, a much better second one. Okay, so where was your first one? Oh, okay, right there. All right, so no, this is not too bad. I'm not sure if I would say much better. There's a lot of different sides and elements that are going into this. I'm just trying to compare these two real quick. Yeah, I would say it is an improvement, just looking specifically at this one right here. So yeah, it is definitely an improvement. So yeah, that's not a bad job at all. Phantom, this would be one of those ones I would say, you know, kind of ranks low on the whole 1 to 10 scale thing, just because there's nothing that's sci-fi about this. So this doesn't really feel high-tech or sci-fi in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's not bad, actually. I mean, it's a good letter R, but not just for this niche, though. So, nutastic. So, yeah, sorry about the rocket. He just couldn't, I get it. But looking at the actual letter R, yeah, I would probably kind of like to see this negative space here. It makes it hard to see it just because the white duplicate of it underneath, but I would like to see that more. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on. It probably would help reinforce the idea that, you know, if this wasn't here, it would make it look a little bit more sci-fi. And another one from Nutastic. So this kind of follows, you know, this is roughly the same idea of, or maybe not, this one up here, and the idea that it's simple and just lines crossing each other. This one's kind of hard to tell that it's an R, though. I mean, you could tell the basic structures there, but it would be, I mean, if you had it alongside an actual word like read or something, or R-E-A-D, you would definitely be able to tell. But in and of itself, it is kind of tough if you didn't know already that it was an R. Other than that, it does feel kind of sci-fi and just high-tech the unique way it's designed, so that's not bad. All right, so Bram Rutten. All right, so I wanted to do something different. Definitely different. So, you know, the schematic inside, definitely, you know, that gives it right away that it's supposed to be high-tech sort of feel. So, yeah, not bad. Kind of interesting overlay in the background here, which, you know, I would say does kind of go along with the color scheme. So, not a bad entry. And then Peter Fuck. Eric, I do remember that. Thanks for calling me a fucker last time. This guy, his name was like Peter Falk or something. Kind of like from Meet the Parents or whatever. No one's ever called me before, but since fucking is the only reason, I haven't asked myself yet. Thanks for not having any nickname profanity filter. Yeah, you know what? When it comes to swear words, I don't really believe in bad words. Like, I just do not believe that they exist in and of themselves. So this is something George Carlin, he was a huge inspiration of mine when it comes to bad words. Because like he said, words in and of themselves are not bad. It's the user, it's the context in which they're used that makes them good or bad. So I'm not going to go on anymore with that. That's a different topic. I'm trying to talk about design here. Anyhow, that was funny that you renamed. You made a new post. That's good. Oh, man, my throat. All right. Anyhow, So this in and of itself, yeah, you could definitely say it's high tech. It's retro kind of. You could tell it's an R, and it is a unique idea with the barcode. So, yeah, pretty good entry. Galaxy 85. Let's see. See, I'm not too sure about this. There's almost too much going on because you have multiple things going on here. We have the emboss, which is with like the chiseled edge, and you have a bunch of flares here. You can see right here, 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 here. And then the drop shadow too, and the stroke. Seems like just a tad bit too much going on here. The general shape, probably not too bad. It does feel, I'm not sure about like 100% the direction I was thinking about taking it, or in terms of being pure sci-fi and high-tech. It has an element of retro to it, but it's not bad. But I think in terms of all the effects, it may be a little bit much. But again, I'm just pulling hairs here. Iziklo, I think, or no, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. All right, so this one, I would say kind of just, yeah, these two I'm not too big of a fan of just because they kind of feel simplistic and trust me, there's nothing wrong with simple, but they kind of feel just, I don't know, not put together too well with the lines and just the way that it's structured. We have black here, and white here. I'm not too sure. It just doesn't flow right in my opinion. It's kind of hard to articulate it. Same thing with this. You know, we have this flow here, which is white, and it kind of looks like a P, but then we just have this black part that's slapped on top of it, and it feels separated. So that would be my gripe against that. Plus, even if this was white, you know, this black part was a part of this form, and everything was kind of designed the same, it probably wouldn't really feel too sci-fi or retro in and of itself. I would say almost the same thing up here as well. All right, so ISTE, my proposition, yeah, I'd say there's the actual form, the letter form itself, there's too many different shapes going on here to really see an R, you know, up front right away. You really got to look at it to kind of get an idea. So in that way, it is ineffective, but I do appreciate the, you know, the attempt to make it, you know, truly, you know, sci-fi-ish and high-tech with these different triangles and other shapes here. Gloria. All right, so Gloria, yeah, you definitely must be a female because this feels female right here. I would say this is probably not a very sci-fi or high-tech type of feeling R. I like the idea of it. This would probably be a real cool font with a little bit of work because this, you can see at the end of this tail portion here, it ends higher than this one over here. So there's just a couple things that you could work on. I like the idea that there's a lot of reliance on negative space, but you can still tell it's an R. But the one issue is it does not feel like a sci-fi or high-tech R, in my opinion. It feels more of like a kind of like a script-ish font. But either way, thanks for the submission. That goes for everyone else. I hope I'm not pissing people off with my reviews here. Alexander. So yeah, there's a lot of focus on the container here, and it definitely feels kind of like high-tech and sci-fi-ish. The R inside itself, though, which is what I was hoping would be the focus, you know, it does. I'm not sure if I would call it sci-fi or high-tech. It's definitely a bold sort of R. But again, I think we just kind of got confused on, you know, I wanted the actual letter form itself to be the focus instead of any type of outside elements, even though you're considering this probably a part of the font in and of itself. But yeah. Good entry, though, in terms of design. I like everything that's done. Jazzid, Jazz ID, or 23. Yeah, you know, I think the one thing that's making me say that this could be improved is just the colors, because the colors don't feel sci-fi or high-tech at all, just in the way, you know, when you have these bright yellow and oranges and reds. But if you were to take this and make it black, it would definitely feel more sci-fi, just because there's an absence here of the counter, as you would call it. So yeah, the letter form itself is good. I'm not too sure if this, you know, presenting it like this with these colors would be too much of a help. If you take these all and probably just convert them to grayscale or black and white, then it would be much better in my opinion for the intent. All right, so DL2904. So yeah, this one, when it comes to the strokes used like this, I'm not a fan of them. Having the black with the, very small blue stroke that goes around every element seems to kind of clutter it. So I would just get rid of the black stroke here and get rid of the blue stroke here just to show them. And I think it would do you much better. It would feel a little bit less amateurish in terms of presentation just by having that stroke there used in that manner. Having said that, assuming those strokes weren't there, the letter form itself, yeah, this is definitely, right up the alley of what you would consider sci-fi and high-tech. So yeah, not a bad entry. All right, so Nacho Boogle, let's see here. Okay, so he accidentally did a lowercase r, no problem. Yeah, so I would say probably tone down the background first because it's taking away emphasis from this because there's a lot of contrast here, especially compared to the R, which is not much contrast. So what I would do is get a black background layer at the very bottom, put this on top of it, this image right here, and then take down the opacity to like 10% or something. So you'd still have a background texture. You still see it, but the focal point now becomes the actual letter form, which is what we wanted. Having said that, I know you did a letter R, lowercase one, which, in and of itself, if again, if I wasn't being distracted by everything else, the letter form itself isn't bad. But again, unfortunately, we didn't get to see like a full uppercase R. So yeah, no problem there. Here's another one. All right, so same comments here, obviously, that I already put. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have the this orange color here, which is like a drop shadow that's inverted upwards. I wouldn't have that because it kind of just doesn't feel like it fits the color scheme. And same thing with this portion here. Everything else is this blue, but then we have this color right here for some reason, which is not. So I just don't think it fits well, and it creates for clutter and separation. So I think if everything was white and the whole background was black and we could really see the full letter R, it probably actually wouldn't be too bad. So I think this is just an issue with colors and contrast. All right, so another one, MXV Design. So yeah, this is very cool. So you can see MXV's designs, there's a lot going on in terms of the texture here, but one thing he kept consistent was how the whole letter form itself was being displayed and portrayed. And that's exactly what I want. So, up here, you're doing something that's also graphical, but we're separating it. And a few of the other entries did the same thing. They're separating elements with different colors and other manners. But this, you can really tell it's, it's all the same consistency throughout the letter form, which is good. And then also right here, that's good as well. So I'd say that's a very good entry. And then I did a tutorial on how to design a custom font, letter R. And this was my attempt at it. So you guys can watch it if you wish. Janine, I'm just going to say Janine. All right, so I would say this almost looks like an RC or a PC, just because there's a lot of intersecting lines. I mean, everything is designed consistently, and there's a flow with it. I see we have two different options here. It's hard to say which one I would go. I'd probably do this one, just because this one, it kind of looks like a P and then just like a C's behind it. So coming down here, I can also appreciate the sketch going on. But yeah, there's a lot happening here. I'd probably get rid of this one right here. And this would be much more effective, I would say, just without this over here. I think that's creating a lot of cluttering elements over there. And also, it's kind of hard to sell font or any type of design where you're mixing and matching different sorts of shapes. So, we have kind of like a hard edge over here, and then these slices coming over here, and then we have like a nice flowing round area over here. So it's a little bit hard, and it kind of just doesn't flow right, in my opinion. But yeah, thanks for the entry anyhow. All right, over here, Quixie, first post on his forum. Yes, one post, first and last post. Yeah, this one I would say is kind of definitely needs work, because we have that same issue as in the previous one, where we have these hard edges, we have these knife slices here, but then we have these You know, there's very soft flowing lines out here, and it kind of just doesn't feel consistent in its presentation. And then over here, this little part, which looks like if you used a pen tool and just kind of going around there, and it didn't match up quite right. So I'm not a fan of this hanging off there either. So I would say try to work on consistency in terms of shapes and how those are being presented. So not salts right here. So again, this one almost feels like the first or second entry that we had. I definitely like this presentation of it better because there's a little bit too much going on here. Or not in the idea that there's too much. I think the color selection and the grading up here, it clashes too much with this. There's not much contrast up on the top portion. But this one, I like this so much better. Even though it's the same letter, it's the same letter form, but just keeping it simple like this really shows it better. All right, so E.K. Nightger. Yeah, this is one of the other things I was talking about when I talked about earlier when it comes to, you know, this looks like a P with like a shake behind it. So if you just would have, you know, maybe joined these so that the letter form itself is being consistently applied, then it would have been much better. I like the idea that you did something completely different by having it in Blender. But even then, it's still, I'm not sure I would really call it sci-fi too much, just in the idea of the shape that it kind of just seems like maybe a regular R, although I could see the edges here. But yeah, thanks for the entry. And then we have Ramrar or whatever. So we got a GIF here. And so this is the first time I'm really looking at this one. Now I say this is very abstract, obviously. Did a tinkering on a teardrop shape. If you want to witness some late night sci-fi, I love some tips. I'm gonna open this up and hopefully he didn't like mess with me like some type of like porn image or something. No, okay, that's good. Rookie racist of red. I'm just looking at this real quick. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, so looking at this R in and of itself, I mean, if you're just looking at it in and of itself, you didn't know what the heck it was, or if it was accompanying no other text, you would have a hard time looking at it. But, knowing that, I know that this is an R, and especially if it were being presented with other text, like this right here, which is still kind of hard to read. But I could definitely appreciate, the idea that it's abstract. So I think it is definitely an interesting entry. I like that it's very simple and there's a lot of white space. So yeah, this is a pretty good entry, but very abstract in terms of being sci-fi in the letter form. So other than that, if I'm looking through, I'm just looking through these right here. Loves reviewing. Yeah, I would probably get rid of the one right here coming up right there, because there's not a lot of contrast between the red and the mid-gray background. So showing him in this many different variations, I would probably say isn't entirely necessary. But yeah, other than that, showing you with these other ones is pretty good. So, and this will probably scale down well, so I would say it's pretty effective going for something that's real abstract. All right, Caesar ACR, this is my humble entry. Yeah, I would say, yeah, this doesn't really feel too sci-fi. And also there's some inconsistencies here, like, you have the blue line here, you have the blue line here on the inside of what's called the bool, which is typographic terminology for the right side of a letter like P or B or D or whatever, or B. There's not consistency in terms of the negative space or the white space in between the outer portion of the letter. So, this minor details like that really do affect the presentation of design in general. So for the letter form, I would try to work on making things more consistent, but also at the same time, it doesn't really feel too sci-fi, I guess you could say. So yeah, thanks for the entry though. So Devin Wade. All right, so last minute upload. Okay, we got Devin Wade over here. Yeah, this is actually a pretty interesting R. Again, you know, we're mixing ideas here, which isn't necessarily bad. I think you could definitely tell it's an R. Would like to see a smaller version of this. Maybe I can get up Photoshop or something. And yeah, here it is. I paused that real quick while it loaded. Yeah, I actually do like this. This would be an interesting sort of font if you were to, you know, go forward and create one. All right, so ALG portfolio. Let's see here. Yeah, this one, you know, there's a lot of focus and emphasis on external elements. The actual letter form in and of itself, there's a lot going on here. I would say almost get rid of the middle portion right here and bring this over here to the right, just because there's so much going on with the shapes and parts of the letters. But yeah, I can appreciate everything else you did with it, so it's not bad. Definitely a lot of work went into this, so that's good. Rivers, okay, this one is a tough one because I mean, you can see that there is an R shape here, but almost more so than the R, you see a Z, in my opinion. You can see the Z right here. But no, you got it right in terms of thinking about sci-fi and these, you know, these 45-degree angles and edges and everything. But yeah, thanks for the entries, everyone. Actually, there was one more that someone else posted as testy over here. And this one, I would say, kind of feels a little bit cartoonish too. But yeah, thanks for the entry. So I'm thinking about doing something a lot different, possibly for the next entry or next design contest. I mean, I'm not going to even mention it yet. So hopefully in a couple days I'll have that video for the new design challenge submitted, but it may be 100% different. And it may flop entirely. I'm thinking about having, no, I'm not even going to mention it yet. But no, thanks for all these entries. So hopefully I didn't like make anyone mad. So that's not the point, obviously. I'm just trying to give you my honest feedback and opinion about these things. Hopefully so that it does maybe just help some people. Well, hopefully it helps everyone. Probably won't though. Probably got people like smashing their keyboard and say, you know, but no. But yeah, hopefully you guys continue to enter these. It's very appreciated. And yeah, of course, always check out DesignCourse.com/premium and also subscribe here on YouTube. All right, goodbye.